Rain patters against the hospital windows, a steady rhythm masking the secrets inside. For most people, death is the end of the story. But for one weary forensic pathologist, it's only the beginning. In a morgue where silence reigns, bodies tell tales without speaking. And the dead still dream. Deep below the waking world, hidden in the glow of monitors and the chill of stainless steel tables, impossible patterns emerge, nightmares preserved beyond the grave. Every scan reveals another mystery. Every dream, another witness. And as the truth unfolds, one terrifying question remains. If the dead remember us, what do they want? Welcome to the Dreamers. Where death has a voice, and it's getting louder. It started on a Tuesday. Rain drummed against the hospital windows, a steady, almost hypnotic rhythm. Dr. Elias Mercer, a forensic pathologist with 22 years in the field, was hunched over a glowing computer monitor in the coroner's office. The air smelled faintly of formaldehyde and antiseptic. A body had been brought in from a city alley earlier that evening, another John Doe, another story likely to remain untold. Mercer wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary. But the data on his screen suggested otherwise. The brain scan was unusual. Mercer had seen thousands of MRIs and CT scans in his career, but this one pulsed with something impossible. Brain activity. Or at least, patterns that resembled REM cycles. Dreams. Mercer rubbed his eyes. He knew he was staring at something impossible. The hospital's neuroimaging software sometimes glitched. But this was clean. Clear. The patterns flickered rhythmically across the scan, like a faint echo of someone still alive, still thinking, still dreaming. Mercer called his assistant, a sharp postdoc named Lila Chen. "You need to see this," he said, voice low. She came over quickly, eyes widening as she examined the scan. This can't be real," she whispered. "The brain starts shutting down within minutes of death. Synapses collapse. Memories, thoughts, dreams, they vanish." Yet here it was. Evidence that refused to be ignored. Over the following days, Mercer reviewed every recent case, every archived brain scan. One by one, bodies declared clinically dead, sometimes hours, occasionally a rare case of days or weeks, revealed the same patterns. Some of these patterns indicated active dreaming, vivid, structured sequences with emotion, logic, narrative. They weren't random bursts of neural noise. Some were violent, some comforting, some horrifying, and all recorded in astonishing detail. Mercer tried to rationalize it. Perhaps a chemical reaction in the brain, triggered by trauma or hypoxia, kept neurons firing longer than expected. But the data refused to fit neatly into science. These weren't just dying thoughts. They were stories, memories, and, in some cases, warnings. He began working late into the night, scanning bodies in the quiet hours when the city slept. Each scan was a window into something hidden, fragile, and ephemeral. Children dreamed of playgrounds they had never visited. Adults walked streets they had never traveled. Faces appeared, some familiar, some impossible. And then came the nightmares. Mercer started dreaming of the bodies he scanned. Their faces, frozen in death, spoke, moved, reached toward him. He would wake with a start, sweat soaking his shirt, convinced he felt cold fingers brushing against him. At first, he blamed exhaustion, the long hours, the isolation. But the dreams grew more coherent, more insistent, as if the dead were trying to communicate. One night, he scanned a man named Samuel Torres, a homeless veteran who had died under mysterious circumstances. The dream patterns were unnervingly precise. When Mercer analyzed the scans, he realized the dream depicted events from the night of Torres' death, details Mercer had no way of knowing. He checked police records. Every detail matched. The implications hit him like a punch. If these dreams were recordings, memories somehow preserved after death, then the dead were not only alive in some sense, they were witnesses. Silent, unseen witnesses. He tried to alert authorities, contacting police, forensic neurologists, anyone who would listen. Most were skeptical. Some politely dismissed him. Only a handful seemed genuinely intrigued, though hesitant to fully embrace the implications. Mercer's own nights became haunted. He would lie awake, scribbling fragments of sentences, sketches of faces, and landscapes that had no earthly correspondence. Some dreams were so precise, so immersive, that he felt as if he were there, walking the streets, hearing voices that weren't his own. The city noticed his work eventually. News outlets reported cautiously, skeptics wrote op-eds, and religious groups debated the significance. But something unspoken lingered. If the dead truly dreamed, then the understanding of life, death, and consciousness itself was incomplete. Fragile, and far stranger than anyone could imagine. Mercer noticed patterns in the dreams. Certain deaths, particularly sudden or violent ones, produced the most vivid sequences. Some dreams repeated, evolving subtly over time. He began calling the deceased whose scans revealed ongoing dreaming, the dreamers. One scan revealed Mara Whitaker, a young woman killed in a hit-and-run. Her dream wasn't just a memory, it was a warning. Images of cars, shadows, and a faceless figure chasing someone through empty streets filled the pattern. Mercer felt a chill as he realized the brain could preserve more than memory, it could preserve intention, fear, perhaps even foresight. Mercer continued his work, increasingly isolated. Relationships frayed. Colleagues stopped calling. He rarely ate. He became a ghost in the morgue, listening to the dreams of the dead. Beautiful, terrifying, impossible. Each night they whispered secrets, told stories, revealed truths that the living could not perceive. Years passed. Mercer catalogued over 100 dreamers, a growing library of the afterlife, a compendium of consciousness beyond the grave. He came to understand that the dead didn't simply dream, they remembered everything. Every slight, every act of love or betrayal, every fear. Some of these dreams weren't merely memories, they were warnings, messages for the living. And sometimes, he realized, the dead remembered him. Not as Dr. Mercer, coroner, but as a presence in their liminal world. Some dreams were pleasant, others were silent, observing, patient. They seemed to wait. Mercer still works in the morgue, scanning bodies, cataloging dreams. Still listening. Still careful to sleep lightly, to keep the lights on, to never ignore the patterns that appear on a screen. Because the dead are still dreaming. And sometimes, they dream of you. Even in silence, even in death, some things never truly rest.